purport by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, he delivers the fallen living entities by offering them the four kinds of liberation: Salokya, Samipya, Sarshti, and Sarupya. Please repeat. He delivers the fallen living entities.
He delivers the fallen living entities
By offering them the four kinds of liberation: Salokya, Samipya,
Sharshti,
and Sarupya. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are two kinds of liberated souls: those who are liberated by the favor of the Lord, and those who are liberated by their own effort. One who gets liberation by his own effort is called an impersonalist, and he emerges into the glaring effulgence of the Lord, the Brahma Jyoti. But devotees of the Lord who qualify themselves for liberation by devotional service are offered four kinds of liberation, namely Salokya, status equal to that of the Lord; Samipya, constant association with the Lord; Sarshti, opulence equal to that of the Lord; and Sarupya, features like those of the Lord. Next, 31. Brahma Saidya Muktera Taha Nai Gati Vaikunta Bhaire Hoy Ta Svabhara Siddhi. Those who attain Brahma Sayudhya liberation cannot gain entrance into Vaikunta. Their residence is outside the Vaikunta planets. Vaikunta Bhaire Eka Jyotirmaya Mandal Krishnera Angera Prabha Parama Ujjval. Outside the Vaikunta planets is the atmosphere of the glowing effulgence, which consists of the supremely bright rays of the body of Lord Krishna. Siddhaloka Namatara Prakritira Par Chitswarupa Tanai Chit Shakti Vikar. That region is called Siddhaloka, and it is beyond the material nature. Its essence is spiritual, but it does not have spiritual varieties. Text 34. Surya Mandala Jena Bahire Nirvisesh Vitare Suryara Ratha Adi Savishesh. It's like the homogeneous effulgence around the sun, but inside the sun are the chariots, horses, and other opulences of the sun god. Purport. Outside of Vaikuntha, the abode of Krishna, which is called Paravyoma, the glaring effulgence of Krishna's bodily rays. This is called the Brahma Jyoti. The transcendental region of that effulgence is called Siddhaloka or Brahmaloka. When impersonalists achieve liberation, they merge into that Brahmaloka effulgence. This transcendental region is undoubtedly spiritual, but it contains no manifestations of spiritual activities or variegatedness. It's compared to the glow of the sun. Within the sun's glow is the sphere of the sun, where one can experience all sorts of varieties. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajeevam Satvaitam Savadutam Paridhanasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganaranga Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yavanta Pravishya Mama Vachamima Prasuttam Sanjeevayatya Kila Shakti Darasvadamna Anyamstasya Charana Shravanatvagadin Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tulyam. He delivers the fallen living entities by offering them the four kinds of liberation: Salokya, Samipya, Shashti and Sarupya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, the living entities in this material world, of which we are one of them, are unlimited. There is no limit. Nobody can begin the count or end the count of the number of living entities within this universe, what to speak of beyond the universe. Whereas the unlimitedness cannot be easily understood or conceived by us. The number of living entities, it's easy to use a word like there are infinite living entities. Sometimes we use this word for something which is unlimited. Oh, it's infinite. Even in our saying infinite, our idea is to give some word to it and limit infinite. Oh, it's infinite. That means somehow I can still conceive of it. But actually the unlimitedness or the uncountableness of the number of living entities is so much, even it's mind-boggling even to understand how many living entities are actually there. Sripad Madhvacharya, he actually says that in the space that is occupied by one atom of space. Scientists say there is an atom. Even our Shastras say there is an atom. And an atom is described as small as the tip of 1/10,000 size of the tip of your hair. Just pull out one of your hairs, take the tip of that, divide that into 10,000 parts. How small would that be? That's the size of an atom. And that is the size which Madhvacharya is talking about. You take a space equal to that small region of space, and he says that within that small region of space there are unlimited living entities.
How is that possible?
What? So when we say unlimited living entities, you think, oh, they are there all over the universe. No, within an atom of space there are unlimited living entities. So you can just imagine. Wow. And all of these souls are fallen conditioned souls who are fighting to get somebody. Forget about human body. They would be very happy at least to get the body of a fish or of some germ or something like that. In other words, like we have our lodge during the high season. Now if you ask anybody goes to the lodge, ask Mother Madhuri, sometimes she works there as a receptionist. If you ask her to room, she will easily allot you a room because the room is available. Come high season, sometime Memorial Day or Sunday, probably say, can you get some double room? Can I get some single room? At least a single room? No, we are fully booked, right? So there is competition. If there are more number of people than what is available space, we will say it's completely booked. We don't have space. So the human bodies or any of the animal bodies or the germ body or the body of a lizard or any bed bug or a mosquito or a cockroach, all of these bodies are like large rooms. And the living entities are like the people who have booked the lodge. The number of bodies are extremely limited countable. Although it's very large number, the number of bodies are limited. But the queue for those bodies so unimaginably huge that we must consider ourselves extremely fortunate, whether we are a cockroach or a human being, right from that time. We are all fortunate to at least have got one body. But we take it for granted. We are so comfortable in our bodies that we are into the business of sense gratification, completely oblivious to what we have got. See, it's like there is one large room and 10,000 people standing in queue for that, and you got the large room. You should make the best use of it. Don't waste your time inside the lodge. You have got the room. The 10,000 people standing in queue. Even 10,000 is not a comparable number here. It's unlimited, but just for our understanding, let's imagine there are 10,000 people standing in queue, and you are inside, and you are completely wasting our life. We are all, I'm not saying you, when I use the word you, it includes me foremost. We are wasting our life in petty sense gratification, not utilizing the opportunity we have got of a human body especially. I would say it's extremely fortunate to become a bedbug or a mosquito or a cockroach. Very, very difficult. After so much difficulty, we got bodies. Somehow or other we have come into that queue, got the booking, and we have evolved through the 8.4 million species of life, and we have achieved this human form of life, and we are interested in the good old sense gratification, just eating, sleeping, mating and defending, without thinking how shall I utilize this rare opportunity I have got to finish this business of this material life, get liberated and go back home, back to Godhead. That seriousness doesn't arise. It doesn't arise in our minds because we are in such a thick and dark ignorance that we never understand the value of our own lives. We take it for granted. Not least we as devotees. We also take many things for granted. We are not bothered. We are fighting for petty things. A little money here, little position here, little power, little control. We are not very serious. That's why Narottam Das Thakur lamented. Manushya janma paya Radha Krishna nabhajiya Janiya suniya vishakaino. He says, I have achieved the human form of life, but I have not worshipped Radha and Krishna. On the other hand, knowingly and hearing from others, I have knowingly drunk poison. Understand? So we are actually knowingly drinking the poison of material sense gratification, which is going to finish our opportunity for being liberated from this material entanglement. Once Vasudeva Datta, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, who is an incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj himself, he prayed to Lord Chaitanya. He was crying. He says, why are you crying? He says, I see these living entities are all suffering so much. Please, my dear Lord, be merciful to liberate all these living entities. If you think that they have done so many sins in their lives that they need to suffer unlimitedly, then please consign me to eternal hell, where I can constantly suffer the sins of all these living entities. But I beg you, please liberate every single living entity in the universe. So Lord Chaitanya was extremely moved by his kindness. out of it completely. So therefore, we are extremely fortunate to have obtained this human form of life of all the other forms, in which we can at least come to understand this. See, I am explaining this, you are listening to this. For me to explain and for you to listen is a great fortune for both of us. But there are many living entities who don't have the opportunity even to understand that they are entangled in this body. They are just entangled and they just live their lives without any consciousness of why they are living their lives like they are living it. Even the humans. So we are at least fortunate. Those who are Krishna conscious are those who have begun their Krishna consciousness, like all of us. We have only begun our Krishna consciousness journey. We have not completed anywhere near completion. But we are fortunate to understand that, yes, there is something called a liberated state of existence, and we are in a bound state of existence, and we can be liberated. And we have got this fortune to have the chance for liberation after many creations, spanning trillions of years, which is unimaginable time we have spent in this material existence. So we have to realize, we have to understand in depth the depth and vastness of the creation, and realize how fortunate we are to have come to this point. That is why it is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrta, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. There are billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions, cannot even count it, number of living entities. And all of these are wandering in this universe. Someone obtains a human form of life, and someone is even more fortunate to obtain the mercy of the spiritual master, to be able to understand that I am a part of Krishna, I am a part and parcel of Krishna, and my duty is to serve him. To come to this understanding takes so much effort, so much suffering. The kind of suffering we have undergone in many lifetimes is unimaginable. Sometimes we think today we are a little happy, so we completely forget that we have been in very painful conditions. Completely forget. We may encounter very painful conditions as we go forward in our life. But if we can remember that we have been through such hellish and painful conditions of life, then you will develop a distaste or disgust or a sense of detachment from material sense gratification, which is what makes us get this suffering and which is what makes us forget this suffering. Material pleasure has that capacity to make us forget that we also suffer. This illusion is very strong. That is why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. Extremely difficult. So as I explained, we are extremely insignificant, but we are also extremely lucky to have even come up to this human form of life. So it becomes our duty, each one of our duties, to take this human form of life very seriously and try to finish this business of sense gratification once for all. We should stop getting attracted to the varieties of enjoyment which is apparently available to us in plenty. It's available so much. Distractions are very powerful. We have been kicked billions and billions of times every time we sought sense gratification, but the next opportunity for sense gratification makes us enthusiastic. Wow, let me enjoy. So this is how we are addicted. Basically, we are all addicts. Every one of us, like people who are addicted to alcohol, we are addicted to different varieties of sense gratification. what we call as addiction, whether it is drugs or alcohol, it's just one variety. But the very fact that we want to persist and continue to live here shows we are addicted to this material existence. We have no disgust with this material world. So we have to very carefully cultivate this sense of disgust, which should be born from within our heart. From within our heart, we should develop that feeling that I am done with this, I don't want any of this. I don't relish, I don't want to relish. And if there is an opportunity for relishing nice things of this world, I shall not relish it. I shall not do it. I shall not take satisfaction. I shall only take satisfaction in my spiritual relationship with the Lord. If we can come to that consciousness, a complete disgust with material achievement, material consumptive happiness, and material enjoyment of dominance over others. There is a lot of satisfaction we get when we can control others, when we can utilize them for our ways, what we think they should be doing. And in this way, when we do, there is a kick we get, a satisfaction, so much so that we won't be able to trade it for anything else. In all of these three varieties of enjoyment. What is that? Consumption, control, and sense of achievement. These are the three things. So when these three things, they constantly, there are people who achieve something in their life. Yeah, I have done that. They show their strength. People sometimes, just to have satisfaction from this sense of achievement, they take great risk for their lives. Like there are people, you see constantly, if you see some shows, you will see there are people who have walked, for example, on a rope between two mountains, at the depth of some couple of miles, just to show to the world, I can walk. With bare hands they walk. With the wind blowing, they somehow manage. From this side to that side, they go, then at the end of it, I did it. They got myself in the Guinness Book of World Records. There is sense of achievement, there is thrill. So many varieties of achievements. People demonstrate, I did this, I could do this, I am able to do this. So that is one form of happiness. The other form of happiness, as I said, is control. Relationships. In relationships, we want to be the dominant person. Managers want to dominate over their subordinates. Husband wants to dominate over the wife, or the wife wants to dominate over the husband, or the parents want to dominate over the children, or the children want to dominate over the very old parents. Brothers want to dominate over each other. The king wants to dominate over the subjects. President wants to dominate over the citizens. All this sense of domination, or one country wants to dominate, this sense of control and domination, the sense of achievement, these are all sources of addictive happiness. Once you are used to it, you can't get out of it. Someone who is in power, he cannot give up power. He always, the more he enjoys power, even if he gets kicked, even if he is troubled, he wants to hang on to that source of power, position of power. So one has to develop a complete disgust, and then consumption. Consumption means having the objects of the senses touch our senses. I want to see beautiful things, beautiful people. I want to taste nice things. I want to drink, I want to eat, I want to enjoy. So dominance, consumption, and achievement. I did it. I could do it. So these type of variety, and there are multiple varieties in this. All these varieties keep us bound to this material world. So we need to seek a state where we can be liberated from this. In that liberated condition, we no longer want to dominate. We no longer want to consume. We no longer want to have that sense of achievement. There, in that liberated state, either one is completely absorbed only in his own spiritual existence, which is that kind of liberation is known as Brahma Sayujya. You are completely absorbed in yourself. You are completely oblivious of everything outside of yourself. Rather, you think whatever is outside of yourself is also myself. That's the Mayavadi type of liberation. Somehow or other they confuse. Their intelligence is confused. Interestingly, the Mayavadis think that in the liberated state, there is no mind, intelligence and senses. But it is not true. The soul is always with sense. The soul is always with feeling. The soul is always with intelligence. It is constantly associated with this. It is never in a way. The Vedanta Sutra explains that there are two types of mind, two types of intelligence, and two types of senses. What we are seeing is our material sense. What we are exhibiting to each other is our material mind and intelligence. But there is a spiritual mind, spiritual senses, and spiritual intelligence. That is absolutely identical with the spirit itself, with the Atma. The Atma itself is variegated. The Atma is not one amorphous entity, it's not one homogeneous entity. The Atma is an integrated entity. When I mean integrated, it has certain features. The spirit soul or the Atma or ourselves, we have certain features within ourselves which is split variety. For example, the variety of myself as the senses is different from the variety of myself as a mind and the variety of myself as an intelligence. In other words, my mind, my spiritual mind, I am here talking about the spiritual mind. My spiritual mind is identical with myself. I am my spiritual mind. I am my spiritual senses. I am my spiritual intelligence. It's just nothing but the way we are able to express our existence in the liberated state independently. So therefore, it is appropriate to talk of my mind, my intelligence and my senses in the spiritual status because they manifest absolutely differently. But there is no my mind. It is rather I mind, I intelligence, I senses. The I appears as mind. There is a sense of possessiveness over ourselves. The I makes it like mine. So the mind, intelligence and the senses of the soul are identical with the senses. Anganyasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. These Krishna's senses are non-different from Krishna. Similarly, the soul's senses are non-different from him. But that is in the pure spiritual condition, the material condition. The I as my mind gets locked to an energy called material mind. I as intelligence, I intelligence gets locked to an energy called material intelligence. Similarly, I sense as my sense, the spiritual sense, gets locked to the external senses, which is the five senses we have. Like I have these eyes. You can have your ears. Let's say this temple is fairly quiet now, except for me talking. Let's say I don't talk. So still, so quiet. But still, you can conceive of loud sound in your own mind, right? And just imagine as if big kirtan is going on. Oh wow! So you hear the sound, but it is not produced outside of yourself. It is you yourself producing the sound to be heard by yourself in the mind. You can imagine. That shows, or when I close my eyes, it's pitch dark. Still I can imagine a beautiful red rose. To my physical eyes it is dark. But inside my mind I can imagine it. Right now I'm imagining a yellow rose. Yellow color. In my, that's the inner eye. That is the soul's eye. This is the material eye. This is the material ears. But what I could imagine within my mind about the sound, and hear that sound, not only conceive but even hear within my mind, is the soul's ears. And that soul's ears is the soul itself. The soul itself becomes its ear. So in this manner, in the spiritual world, there are varieties. Everything is full of variety. The soul itself is full of variety. Similarly, the Lord is full of variety. And the entire spiritual world is nothing but a display of the most brilliant and inconceivable and astounding variety. You understand? So, in that display, one can have liberation, or liberation means freedom from the influence of matter or anybody outside of yourself deciding or dictating or controlling what you are going to do. There